Hello and welcome back. Saturday morning, almost 9:10. Sales video. Turn that music down. All right. So it's going to be relatively quick. If I go anywhere, it's going to be local. Just get this stuff packaged. Going to get started on the CDs. Did what I do yesterday? 40 something sell similars. Just because of the time frame. I didn't do any new listings, but of the time frame of the stores I went to got back, I will do that. I was back at like 2:30 and still kind of did that way after I was done with those sell similars. Would have been about 5 o'clock and my day would be done. And that's about when it was done. And I think I started on yesterday's video was a little bit after 6, right? So that's just on how I'm structured to do that. Now, if there's days where I want to get 200 listed, yeah, I'll start at 10 and I won't be done until like 6. And that's 200. That's maybe 3. And I've done that before. Got 3 of these boxes, just filled the boxes of CDs. When did I do that? March? April? Somewhere around there. And yeah, that took a while because I got all those CDs at Lee Road, and then I already had a chunk, and then I went out and got a chunk more, and then I put up, I think it was like 178 or something like that. I believe it's in the video. And that took, take my time slowing down and taking breaks and stuff. I still got all that done in like 7 hours. So that was hoofing through them. That's still probably about 25, 30 an hour. That's just picture, and just put them all organizedly, put them in a line, and then, or in a box, rotate that box, and now it's facing me, and I'll have the first one I took a picture of, look it up, type it in, go from there. The main thing I want to go over is, well, it's going to be in the stack, so it is a sales video. Let's go and find out what I sold. Actually, it's pretty good for being a Friday to Saturday. Hot Boys DVD, Snoop Dogg, and someone else that was in here. Master P was the other one that I saw. And Gary Busey. All right. 25. Sticking with the hip hop theme, Machiavelli, CD 16. This Rising Sun 2-disc, 11. All right, so this one is the winner of the day. So this I got at the Salvation Army down in Talmadge. Yeah, Britain Road. So I got this one and another one. I don't remember what I said of what they were likely for, especially this one in the sourcing video. However, using the scan, you're going to get certain prices that come up. And then when you start hand typing, when you go to list, and you start going into solds and into Terapeak so that you can get a more accurate, that's how I do it, a more accurate determination on what a price would be. I saw that this had sold for like as high as like $130, $140 or something. It's like, all right, this specific one. There's another one that's newer, that's a taller box, not this square. So I put it up for whatever price I put it up for, and it sold for 121. And I've only had this for a week and a half, maybe. That's a good one. Audiobooks. For the most part, the audiobooks of reading of books, let's say like Stephen King books and David McCullough books and forget the other one, Danielle Steele, those ones, for the absolute most part, are just as likely. Those values are about the same as what the actual books are. 5, 8, 10, 15 bucks. Different non-common stuff is worthwhile to always look up, especially when they're sealed. I mean, I'll look up a sealed comic book, audiobook as well. This gold CCR, nope, Jefferson Airplane with the slipcover, 26. Richard Harris CD. So I got 2 of these. I want to say I got them at Libra. I don't remember where I got them. I want to say that's where I got them at. 19. Chris Stapleton just listed this one. It was one of those to where there's a bunch listed, a bunch of sold, and I don't know, maybe I got it for $1. I don't remember. But 15. It's Drake and Josh. Got a side message like, hey, can I get this for $15? And there's a little more to the message, and like, it was an endearing enough message. I mean, I won't say it's like super endearing, but it was enough in there to be like, I have to have this for $15. If not, then it wasn't anything like that. It was just, there was a message. I'm like, God. And I think it was originally priced at like 18, right? So to come down to $15 for, yeah, why not? This Yellow Fever paperback. Now, I've had this. Let's see if there's a date stamp. I don't think that there's a date stamp on this here. No. So this is well over 3 years old. So I have picked up, I want to say it was a Thrift on the Vine, which is a little church thrift store where it used to be like you could fill a paper bag for $10 on a specific day of the month, or it was like a Tuesday, or every Tuesday you could fill a bag. So I'll go in there and I would pick up a whole bunch of different religious books and Bibles and tracts and the Watchtower stuff. And one time they had a whole bunch of like these war-esque type books. Some did pretty well. There's one that sold really quick. I'm not even going to remember what the title is. It's like $60. And I may still have a couple that are like $12, $15 listed. But this one just relisted a couple days ago, and is what I started doing with all the listings that are going to be sell similar. So I'll go in, especially if they're like $30 more, or if the picture is a bad picture, if there's another one of the ones that I use that's kind of sideways, or it needs to be brightened, or things like that. I will do that for almost all of them. However, is what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll crop it as absolutely close as I possibly can. Crop it down, hit the little highlight wand thing that makes it brighter, and do that with every single picture. And the past handful, and I only started doing that past handful of days, maybe, of doing the sell similars. And there's been quite a few more now. It could be that they're selling just because you're doing a sell similar and it's kind of regenerating the oomph for the listing itself. It could also be that going in and the actual thumbnail picture is more closer in on the actual item, and it's brighter, so that kind of draws more people to it. And we're like, oh, and then you have really, really close-up pictures on all the rest of them, so that kind of draws somebody in and be like, okay, well, this is a really good picture. And if you look at this, whatever year this is, 1967. So it's 1967, so it is very clean for its age, right? It has been read, but it's a very tight bind. So enough about that one. So it's just one of the newer things that I'm doing, just kind of help drum up a little more interest and views. Because after the turn of the year, at that big sale is when a lot of all my non-media and non-frame stuff is going to get put in lots and get gone. So electronics, the arts and crafts. I do have a few toys. A lot of that stuff I'll start to figure out more toward end of November on how I want to do more of that. And then after the big sale, after Christmas, whatever's left. That way, all I have is media. 21. All that talk just to say $21. This Black Stallion Criterion collection, you can usually tell Criterion by looking at this. It usually have this offset C like that. It's usually going to be just like this on the side. Sometimes it's up here. But 22. Dawkins and Dawkins self-title CD. 21. Mortuary Law. That's an older one. 1995 Mortuary Law. 36. Species. Just got this one. Once I got it to Goodwill in Ashtabula. Don't remember it being a sourcing video, but 19. And then this Bible from Kirkbride. Looks like B.B. Kirkbride. Thompson Bible. Chain reference. Red letter edition. Indexed. It isn't a sourcing video. They say something along the lines like, for $1, yeah, I'll buy it for, it's going to be a $30 to $40 sale. I'll buy it for $1. Usually Bibles and usually books like this are typically like $3-4. Would I have bought it if it would have been $4? Maybe still, because it was, it's pushing. But when you're just on the fly at a store looking stuff, oh, that one was 38. So when you're at a store, and especially when things don't have a barcode, and hand typing is going to be more accurate, but when you're just there looking stuff up on the fly, trying to hurry up and make a determination right then and there, not to be too hurried. That way you can get to the next items. I'm saying that the recent lower priced per se, let's just say that they're like 28 to 32 bucks. If it was $4, chances are no, because it's still going to be shipped in the 3-pound rate. And it most likely that will be, it'll probably still be like 6, depending where it's going. 2.6. So somewhere kind of East Coast-ish. So it's still going to be like 6 and some change to ship. Now, if it would have gone somewhere, it is going to go insured, because close to and over that $30 mark is where even though it's cheaper to ship with media mail, anything that's going to be high 20s and more, I'll pay that extra 30 cents or $1 to ship it out. I mean, if I'm only spending throughout a week, if I'm spending $5 more in shipping to make sure stuff gets out that has insurance, yeah, because it's easier. I had one get lost, and I refunded the guy. It was only like a $12 CD. But if it's 38 or 48 or 65 or 68 or, that's a tough pill to swallow. If you're like, oh, well, I'm going to send out the $70 book, media mail, and it gets lost and it gets damaged, you're eating that whole thing, because media mail does not have insurance. So when it comes down to a certain point, I mean, the odds of something happening are so slim, but that's why there's something called insurance in case shit happens. And well, basically, if shit doesn't happen, I want my money back, but it doesn't work that way. It should. So, the total of sales is 419, 418.62. So, in total product cost received is 404.65. So 405. And otherwise, what would be 22 hours or whatever the time frame was that yesterday's sales video posted between now. So right about that. So that was a fairly good day because my average falls right in the 250 range. Some weeks the average can be closer to 300, but for the most part, an average sales day is about 250. So that's attributed to going out, buying stuff frequently, listing frequently, sell similars. What do you have to do to keep that store kind of active in those regards? And then stuff will just keep on going. So my total listing amount is, I think it's 20. Oh, I can tell by that, but it's like 29 and change. I'm trying to hit the 3,000 mark again, but if I go out today, I will, just for that purpose. Pick up a few more things, and then if I list what I currently have that's not listed and what I get today, those listings will put me at the 3,000 mark. So I want to try to stay at that going throughout the next months, because again, at the end of the year, when I run the after Christmas beginning of the year sale, which is, instead of my sale bracket being 39%, it's 5 more brackets higher, which would put it not everything. The first tier would be at 49%, then 47, then it goes all the way down. Then after that sale is when I'll pull down hundreds of items, and especially a lot of media items and a lot of other non-media items. But the media items are going to be things that have been 6-8 months, a year plus, and I went through that before. You probably have to reference a video a little bit after July 4th on where I kind of explained that on how I do that. And I will do that again at that time frame in December or in January. Kind of explain on how I do all that and why I do that. There's a lot of reasons why I do the sell similars and why I do those big sales like that, because it helps to maintain what you have, to turn it into stuff that you don't have to have anymore, because most likely it's not going to sell, or definitely gives you the opportunity to copy paste the title, the author name, and stuff like that in the current sold and then entire peak, and you can get a better gauge of where you should price it at. That way you're just not taking it down and throwing it away. So there's little extra work that I do, and when I do that, that does generally take, after the taking down, figuring out what is ultimately going to get called, which is going to be pulled and permanently gotten rid of, and what is going to be relisted, and pulling all that stuff and doing all the relistings and all that. It is like 2 days worth of work to do. But I only do that twice a year. Right. All right. So enough babbling on about that. Wraps that one up. So like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. Crop your pictures to where everything is nice and sharp in the thumbnail. Don't take a picture from right here, right? You're standing here and you take a picture of this. And you're like, oh, I'm trying to sell the ship exhaust. People are like, what? Get it as close as you can. Even when you're taking the picture, get it as close as you can. And then if you have to, go in and crop it. Thummy thingy, comment down below, subscribe, share. Those are all free. They take a second. Everything helps. Appreciate it. Thank you.